Good afternoon. This is Robert Paltz coming to you on Super Bowl Sunday. And let's see if I can do this right this time. I tried doing this last night, and for some reason or another, I didn't get it right. And so, anyway, had 44 minutes of unusable video. All right. So, today we're going to take and do the RootsMagic template for archive material vertical files. That's the one I've chosen, the template I've chosen for doing archive material. And this is going to be an AI extraction of archive material. This is a specific request from one of the viewers that I do all the templates that I'm doing. And I'm also going to do this for the Oklahoma Historical Society because the archive that I'll be doing is the collection 2011.298, which is my collection at the Oklahoma Historical Society. Obviously, these are documenting my family, and the originals are there. Okay, I'm not a professional nor an expert genealogist. I'm an amateur genealogist, just like you. I've been doing this since 1992. I do not delete my errors from these vlogs, although I did delete the video last night because there was nothing there to show you. You could have 44 minutes of me talking with no illustrations. But show you how I recover. This is a recovery. This is a collaborative effort, and I want to thank everyone that's been making comments on Facebook groups that I've been posting these on, and been quite helpful. I've had some really useful information out of it, and one of which we'll talk about in a minute. I do videos for people that respond I go too fast so that you can slow them down and rewind them and look at them and run them slow if you want to. All views expressed are mine. I'm a member of 7 genealogy and historical societies, but just a member like you, and no associations with them except being a member. I administer a couple of Facebook sites for one-name Facebook sites. If you have any of those surnames, please come and join us. I'm not the only administrator. I'm just one of a couple. Okay, in my current RootsMagic 11 source templates that I've been using, I have been newspapers.com, book basic format, and cemetery records, and there are the URL videos for those. And like I said, I've been asked to take and do one on each one of them, so I'm doing it. Today we're going to do archive material, and then we got 4 more to do, none of which are completed. When I took this off, I had already completed some of these, so I had to just brush them off and bring them to you. So those will take a little while to come out. And I've also received a request to take and go through this in a more detailed process, and I'll be doing that too. Okay, the demonstration today. We're going to start with the event in Zotero. There are 4 events that are different types of material, each one of them, and I wanted to show you 4 examples of them. And then I'll show you the source template, archival vertical files, and the new folder contents, and then show how Ernest is prompt, and discuss the hallucinations that it does. And it does quite a bit today on this presentation. Okay, and then show the resulting footnote. Okay, I'm going to put that over to the side so I can remember what I said I was going to do. And let's start off with the first event, which is the Kennedy Bible record. And that's this right here in Zotero. Okay. And so this is what's in Zotero, and this is what it looks like. This is all information. A lot of this was AI derived. I ran it through Zotero, or through AI Gemini, or what I call AI Ernest Gemini, and had it transcribe it, build a table for me of the information that was in there, and so on. So this is the Zotero log for it. This is what I logged for it. You might log differently. That's just fine. I generate a report from that, and I file that into a folder by the name of new folder right here. It's in I leave that in my downloads, and I point everything to new folder. That's you can name it anything you want to. You can put it any place you want to. That's where I put it. It's easy for me to remember. So I put it in there. Now let's go get the files. I've already done, I think, on this one. And let's bring this over. Okay, this is new folder. There's the Zotero report that I just put in there, and I put copies of these files in there. Now, they came out of the Auta Kennedy file, which is filed under genealogy. This is, and then individuals in main line, and then Auta Kennedy. And these are the records. Like I said, I was able to get an XLS file, which is a spreadsheet file from an AI thing, and a text. This is the text the AI gave me, and this is the original document. Okay. In a minute, I'll show you how to find that in the archive. Okay, and so back to new folder. That's what new folder looks like. I take that and I come over to my good friend Gemini. Oops, well, here we go. Let's go to Gemini. And I put it in here, and here you see, here's the Zotero report. There's that. The other two reports didn't show up on this one, but that's okay. It's all the same information. And I input it, and here's what the analysis, and it came out with this, okay? And I liked the source, all the source documentation here, as we'll see in a minute. And then here's the citation information, okay? And for the first round, and here's the quality information. Okay, now let's see what I do with that. Yeah, since I've already done this for the audio, you're seeing it as a having been done thing instead of a I'm doing it thing. So I had originally planned on doing it. Okay, this is the handwritten record, Bible record. No location's not listed on it. Here is the source and for that record. Now, if I wanted to add a source, let's just go through that for a minute. I come over here, add a new source, more than likely. Okay. And then I can choose it from favorites. Here's my favorites are all set up. If you don't know how to do set up favorites, it's kind of interesting. You come over and you select the favorite, and then you go up and you hit the star and see how it's been added there. And then if you want to remove that, you select it again and you hit the star again, and it's been removed. So I wanted to archive material in the vertical files, and that's what I chose, okay? So I'm going to X out of that, and that was the template, and that'll show up right up here. Okay, I'm going to pull this down a minute so we can take and go through the template. Okay, archive material, vertical files, that's what's given there. And then I just cut and paste the information from that the AI gave me. And let's go back up here where the information is. And you'll see the information is here. And I don't believe that when I do the cut and paste is when I do the hallucination check. And I don't know whether I did this or not. Let's see what I put in there. I forgot what I've done. It happens. Let's see. It says Oklahoma Historical Research Division. B&W and Auta Kennedy Family Record. Okay. And then that's a citation name. We want this. Archive collection containing memory originated from Mabel and Flora Scovern related to ER membership efforts in the early 1950s. And that's very true. The document is a scan of the original xerographic copy donated in physical condition, the original source. I'll probably have to change this because as at the time, so much of it was dominated by Mabel. My research was dominated by Mabel and Flora that I sometimes forget that other people contributed, and then I have my wife's records too. So sometimes I get forget that. Okay, let's close all this and let's look at the citation. Okay, the citation, I believe I brought this citation over just like it was. And then to take and do the quality, you have to go out of the source and come back into the source after it's been accepted to take access to this. Okay, I've shown that on several videos. I'm not going to show it again today. Anyway, mainly because This is all done. So that's one of them. So that's entered, and this is the kind of data that we get. I'm going to do this 3 times or 4 times today because the different media that's involved. And they're kind of interesting records anyway. You'll notice that when I do the research notes, I put the detailed source information in there. I do that because there's a lot of information out here that actually helps me understand why these determinations were made. And I don't know about you, but I get confused at times, and this helps a good deal. Okay, now, I think I got a little bit quandary. I got to figure out the next one. Let's see if this is it. Nope. This one. That's a newspaper article. Marriage certificate. This is it. Okay, so let's go back to the next one. Where do I want to go? I want to go to Zoom. That's where I started before. Okay, the next one we want to take and do on the list was the marriage certificate. That's right. Checking over here on the side. Okay, the marriage Franklin. Where'd it go? Licenses. I've got oh, there's the certificate. Okay, now the certificate is kind of interesting. I had this certificate. It's a fancy certificate. I put it in AI, and I could show you that because I found it a minute ago. Marriage certificate translate. Okay, this is what it looks like. Okay, and I just put the word transcribe on there, and here it is. It gave me all this information, which then it even has the designer of the form and the lithographic company and the proprietor that did it and printed it and all that. So we've got all the information that was on this fancy marriage certificate. Now, the original at the original time they had pictures in here. At some point in time, someone removed the pictures and used them for other applications in the collection. The original pictures are still there, but they're in the collection. They're not in in this document. Okay, so we did that. We got this information from it, and again we can right click on that, and we generate the report, and then that's put into the folder, and then that's shipped off to with the certificate, and that is shipped off to okay. Here. Let's see where that's at. I'm sure it's right here. Hold on with me a minute. There it is. And that's shipped into here. And then I use the prompt that you'll find in the description to take and generate, again, the material. Now, in this case, everything stayed the same up here. So all I had to do was go over here. And when I was doing that one, here's the certificate. So let's add another source. Now I've got a source that the source has been documented. First time I didn't have a documented source yet, so I had to take and document it first. Okay, and here it is, and you can see that this source has got all the information. Well, let me see. Let's do it this way. Maybe that'll be better. There we go. It's already filled in this information at the top. So the source is already done. All you have to do then is the citation. So I'm going to back out of that, go here, and show you what the citation looks like. Okay. And since everything failed yesterday, I've already filled these out. I filled these out in the video yesterday. So the video is going to be a lot shorter today. And so all I did was cut and paste the information that was given to me here into each of the blocks there. And like I said, for my research note, I also add all this information down here. So it gives the bride and groom's date of marriage and location of the ceremony. This has got the location on it. This is probably the most valuable one on the location. You'll notice there are like 4 locations listed for this marriage, but they're all one. They're like right across the border in another county in a very small area. We're talking probably 10 miles apart, maybe even less, and the circle. So it depends on where it's being registered at the time. And so the different records have them registered in different places. Yeah, one of the fun things of genealogy. So that's done. So I've shown you how that's done. So let's see what else I'm going to do. Now, the next one is Mrs. Pulse. Okay. Now, it so happens that my aunts, Flora and Mabel, made a series of videos. And get up here. Okay. And those one of the videos is labeled Mrs. Pulse, 1950 to 1960. Well, there's a problem with that right off the bat. And that problem I've documented here. Let's see, that was 1948. I got the number over there. Well, no, that didn't put the number over there. 1948, 35 rejected. Oh, okay, 50, 48. That's the Guthrie, 1948. 02, 48, 04 deed, deed, 1948, one deed. What did I do with the thing? I did it. It's not still up here, is it? I got so confused over the. Nope. That's going to be 1948. Bear with me just a second. I'm lost. Not unusual for me. Should be 2. 1948 deed out of Kennedy Memorial. Find a grave. Find a grave. Find a grave. 4802. Where did that go to? I've got it. What, did I put it? Oh, there. I put it in there. That's where it's at. Okay. Now, this one, when you do a generator report, let me. I figured it out that it can't be 1950, and I need to take and change that date up there, and I'll do that after this. She died in November 1948. And if you look at the video, it's a video of some sort of celebratory video. There are flowers being brought to her and stuff of that nature. I was fortunate. I had 9mm film of this, and the Oklahoma Historical Society converted that to digital format for me. And then they put it on their YouTube channel. And when you go to this channel, you'll find there were a number of them, and you click right here. This is going now to, and there is Mabel, and there's Flora, and I believe the other lady is one of I'm sorry, this isn't Flora. This is Auta Kennedy. The other lady here, I believe, is one of her sisters. I don't know for sure, but I know Mabel for sure. I knew Mabel I visited Mabel yearly, and see there's flowers involved and so on and so on. I'm going to show you a little bit of this thing. It's not very long. It's kind of just a family video. I don't know how it's going to do a video on a video, but there we are. And there is Auta Kennedy again, and she's in good health. So I'm figuring this occurred at her birthday. Would be my assumption. And we have a monkey, and I have no idea about the monkey. That was a total surprise to me when I saw this video. I sent these tapes off to be digitized, and they posted them up on the Historical Society site, and I had more fun with this monkey than you'd believe. Let's skip past him. and they're having some form of cookout, and they're having a good time. Corn on the cob, apparently, and I think she's proud that her teeth still work on it. Like I said, I don't know that lady. I think that possibly Mabel. Uh, Quality's not the best in the world, and it's probably even worse by the time we take another shot of it. I don't know all the. There's Mabel again, and there. That was what I wanted to say. That's Flora right there. So that's the two people that were responsible for this archive. They were actively seeking their DAR. Okay. So going back,
when your phone plan's as good as
people. I always hate that. All right, so I took this here and I developed the report for it. I put it into I didn't put the video in there, and I asked uh, my friend Ernest to do something with that. Now, this is where Ernest got a little lost, so just bear with me. There's the report, archive material, and it changed several of the things up here. And I chose not to use those because I already had a good citation. Oh, this is the marriage certificate still. Okay, let's go to the next one. There's the video. Okay, let's go back up here. So, okay, archive material vertical files. Okay, here we go. Now, here we go. You'll see they changed it to OSU Film and Video Archives. They also found the F number. That is a good number. That would define it, but it needs to go down into the citation and not the source. And I don't know if I did that, so I may have to take and go back and do that. And then it notes the date. That none of that belongs up there. It all belongs down here in the citation. So that's when I say you read these things and look for the hallucinations. Now the rest of this looks pretty good, and that's how I put it in. So a lot of working around on this. So let's go down here and get that 1948, 3 February. Let's try that. Okay, video, physical appearance, and social associations of Auta Kennedy Pulse and her descendants. That's how I filled it in. I don't know how you would fill it in. I found this a challenge. And then here's the Oklahoma Historical Society. There's the master source, and I kept it just like it was before. So you can see it. Sources stay the same. Okay. Even though this is like a source of an archive. So you got a kind of a double in here. And then obviously the repositories, the Oklahoma History Society. So it's a specific collection though in an archive. So that makes a difference. And so here's the information that I input into there. Okay. And the prompt will be down there. And again, a derivative, secondary and direct. And here's the details about that. So that was a different kind of thing. Now, if you've been reading my stuff or viewing my videos, you know that I did the next video. The next object was the 1910 Horse and Hat Show, which was the State Fair of Oklahoma. And I went through a series of logical steps on how that picture of that hat, which was way out of place, and I'll show you the other pictures of Auta Kennedy in a few minutes. How that was so out of place, so off the mark from something she would normally do as a conservative person, that I considered it strange. And that was in this one that they accepted in the Bonnet book, and that's a research book that I found. So for this picture, which is labeled this way, that actually is 10th page, lower right. and a book, and I will show that towards the end so that makes sense to you. Uh, this research indicates that Auta photograph. Now, this was extracted from this work here on the bonnet book, which is another video, and that's the book template. Okay, so if you want to take and go look at that, I don't want to repeat it here. And so anyway, I put that data in here, and then I had Gemini create a source citation for that because I realized I needed to take and give people a point of reference for where to find that video, that picture. Didn't think about it at the time. Should have done that when I was doing the book. But it fits in with this too because it's archived material. So when you put your hat on and say I'm an archivist instead of a book reader, this is what comes up out of it. So this is what it came up with. Now it's again, all the source stuff has to be looked at with a grain of salt, and that's the I didn't accept any changes to the source, and I took the citation material, and I don't think I changed anything in the citation material. I think it was really quite fine, and so that then I took and put into here, and that's 1910. And one of the things I'm doing that you might find interesting, this is the photograph. And this is, you'll see that, let's go up here. I put the archive in here. Okay. And so I have this in here in two ways. I have this situation documented in two ways, a source in two ways, and it took up two line items. One is this is the book citation, and then this is the photograph citation. I don't know. You may do it differently, and I would certainly be interested in how you would do that. But I think this photograph, which is this piece of media right here, there it is, and I'll put the hypothesis and everything in there. This is the only way I could think of sourcing it. So you may have a different approach, like I said. So anyway, I put the information in there and generated the source and the citation. So source stayed the same. Citation was different for this because it's a different object in the thing. All that said, that's how I did it. Would be interested in how you would do it. So let's see if I did everything I said I was going to do. I did show you the template. New folder, and I showed you one example of the new folder contents. There wasn't any sense in doing it three times. It's all the same. The prompt for the AI, well, let's see. I don't think I showed you that. So let's move this over here. And this is the text prompt. This will go into the description, like I said. So this is the prompt. I'm going to page through it slowly. Some people do visual, and some people can do cut and paste. This will be in the description, so you can do cuts and pastes. And so this is what I extracted, and Gemini helped me with it. AI Gemini. And I put a sample in there of what I had been doing for the other templates. Now I have, this will be number 4. So I have four examples, and Gemini's getting pretty smart about being able to extract the information and build a prompt for itself. And so that's what it's done. And the resulting footnotes. Did I do enough of that for you? Okay, let's do that. Here's the footnote for this here, which was the picture. So that's what it wrote for a footnote for it. The marriage was in 1886. Here it is. This is Bible record. And here's the footnote for the Bible record. I don't know how the quality got up there at the top. Something, maybe I left a note in there or something. Okay, so that's that one. Then we've got the certificate, maybe. It should say certificate on it. Ottawa, London. It's got to be one of these right here. Nope, that's the local news. There we go. This is going to be the certificate. And here's the footnote yet. Marriage certificate, marriage Robert Paltz collection, at Oklahoma City. Okay. So that gets you there. So let's go back down here. Oh, I didn't show you the video footnote. I need to show you that because it was kind of interesting. And that's going to be in 1948. It's amazing what you got to remember to take and do this. 3rd of February. And this is footnote was OHS Film and Video Archives, director, curator, estimated by researcher was 3rd of February, 1948. And that was the date of publication of the video, recording archives division, Oklahoma. Okay. So that gets you down to about 7 boxes of material and so on. Okay. So that was the final footnote. I think I would have liked to have that F number in there. I may go back and modify that a little bit. Okay, so we've done that, and I've showed you the footnote. So moving on. Okay, now the rest of this is going to be about the collection at Oklahoma Historical Society, and one of the reasons why I added it here is I've not really fully documented that collection. I do it in pieces, bits and pieces, and I submit pieces to them on almost a 5-year basis. I made like 7 trips down there when we lived in Oklahoma, and now we're in North Carolina, and I've got a package ready to mail to them again. So I thought I would describe the collection as I recall that I gave them. Well, it's pretty easy because I can go through the digital scans of what I gave them. And they also have a copy of the digital scans, by the way. So this is it. The first one is the Paltz family, and that's the Flora Scover and Mabel Paltz collection, primarily. And that's what we're dealing with today. Videos, original photographs, and documents, digitized scans of the entire collection, and some jewelry. By the way, if anything that Oklahoma Historical Society decided they didn't want in this collection, it was sent on to the Logan County Genealogical Society in Guthrie. And some pieces were, and I think the jewelry was, but I don't know that for sure right now. Mostly in Logan County and Oklahoma. But it extends back into the founding of Kansas Territory and the documentation of Pennsylvania Civil War soldier, Pennsylvania legislature's wife's letters, and DAR genealogical information. I put a note that Mabel was a teacher from 1912 to 1957. She taught most of the governor's children. She was in a school that was just like 2 blocks or 4 blocks from the governor's home. The second major set in this collection is the Kern family. It's digital scans. They're not originals. The Flora and Mabel group have originals in it. This is digital scans of Mary Kern Paltz Savory's documentation. She married a World War II soldier from Oklahoma, and eventually relocated from Evansville, Indiana, to Guthrie, Oklahoma, with many steps in between, including Midland, Texas. And anyway, it's the digital scans of her memorabilia. And the third major group in there is the Bates family. This is my wife's family. It's primarily Melvin Bates. He's from Agra, Oklahoma. He used to play on a 7-man basketball team there. His picture's actually in the stadium there, playing on the team. It's his World War II South Pacific documentation and photographs as he served on the USS Hector in that war. It also includes approximately 1,000 35 millimeter slides and a number of 8mm videos. I think there's close to 10. Of family life and his career as an Exxon executive in locations like King Ranch, Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Melbourne, Victoria, Australia, Colombia, South America, Indonesia, Norway. He was a drilling supervisor for the North Sea drilling operations for Exxon, and settings in and settling down in Canadian Oklahoma. So it's got all those places are documented in the 35mm slides in the pictures. In addition, we have the McDonald and Jackson family documentation. They're families from Cushing, Oklahoma. That includes information that includes Arctic newsletters from the Arctic Circle, because Antarctica, because one of the members of the family was stationed there in the military. There were several members of the family that were in the military, and there's quite a bit of military information in there. Then you have the genealogical research of the Pulse and Bates families that my wife and I do. And then we have the volunteer activities that my wife and I participated in and did digital scans of. So the first one that we did was the Eufaula 2008 Centennial Celebration. The state was celebrating its centennial, and this was Eufaula specific celebration. We digitized all the memorabilia and documents and stuff that we could get our hands on as fast as we could. And we probably got about 80% of it. People were bringing stuff into that like you wouldn't believe. People flew in from as far away as Houston, Texas, to take and come to that celebration in the little town of Eufaula, Oklahoma. Digital scans and indexes of the gray smooth for Lake Eufaula. Lake Eufaula is a large lake in eastern Oklahoma. There were quite a few grays, most of them on ranches and farms and stuff like of that nature, and they were consolidated in a number of grave sites there. This was a partial. We were not able to find all the books. We found 3 of them. The books are also stored or given to the Oklahoma Historical Society. I believe they're in this collection. Best I can figure out, they are. Okay, the next was the digital scans of the indexes of the federal court McAllister immigration records. This was about, I want to say, 10 books of varying thicknesses, up to about almost 3.5, 4 inches thick. They have a separate, the physical books have a separate collection number at Oklahoma Historical Society, but the digital scans and the indexes, which are not in the books, were developed by the Pittsburgh County Genealogical Society, are in this collection. Okay, digital scans of the Eastern Oklahoma Railroad facilities and equipment collection. This was a presentation I gave to a couple of places in Eastern Oklahoma. And in preparation for it, I took and went to every repository I had access to, and scanned what they had on railroads equipment and facilities, and that's part of that digital scans of all that. Also collected from various locals around there. They had local library collections with those scans in it. And then the construction of the historical documentation supporting the transportation exhibit at the Eufaula Area Museum. I was the transportation researcher at the Eufaula Area Museum, and this was a transportation exhibit that I got to participate in writing a grant with for, and we got that, and it is still being used today. I had in the last 90 days had communications that indicated that they're making additions to it still, and it's an active design. Anyone that wants to take and volunteer on how to use an HO railroad layout and wants to take and run it for them, they're looking for somebody to help them there. So get that in here. Okay, so let's talk about the path to find these records in the collection. So let's start with the Bible record. So here we go. Why did that do that? Oh, Microsoft doesn't always do what I want them to do. Okay. So we're through with this. Let's talk about this record. Okay, this is the first record. This was this record here. Okay, here's the path up here. The Genealogy Society digital items will start with this, and this will be genealogy individuals, not mainline. And you got to go to the Flora and Mabel collection, which is 0049. Now, the physical things are sitting there. This is the digital, how the path to the digital stuff, which is also kind of like the index to the whole collection. And so here's the various items. This was a folder that they said that I labeled genealogical research, and I collected in it all the genealogical stuff. This is where I got my start. So this was my first PERT chart or pedigree chart. So that was a fun chart to take and decipher. And this is their various notes. This is Flora and Mabel's notes. And in here someplace will be their DAR applications. And then we have this. And this appears to be a copy from a Bible or some document of that nature. I've just given it the title Bible. There are letters, all types of information in here. There's a little bit better pedigree chart and so on. So that's it. That's in there. The originals of all this are in there. And that's where that document is. Now, let's see, what else did I say? Next one was going to be, okay. And I've given you the path in here. And this is for the Oklahoma History Society or anybody that goes down there and uses that collection. Marriage certificate. Now, the marriage certificate was in a folder that I called large documents, because it is a large document. It's about 10 by 20. And I didn't find a scanned version of that, except that maybe what I did was I broke it down and put it in individuals' files. And so this is in the individual's main line, because Auta Kennedy's in my main line. She's my great-grandmother. And it's stored here. Now, you'll see the word accepted here. The archive won't have the word accepted in their digital version. But to find the physical copy of that, you want to look for the large document folder. There's about 10 items in that, and this is one of those in that. Okay. So the next thing was on the list. What did I do? Mr. and Mrs. Paul. This is the video. Okay. Now the original 9mm or 8mm, whatever it is, 8mm is there. But in addition to that, I've written, let's do this first. If you go to URL first, what am I? Okay, Mabel and Flora collections. Okay, you go to this collection, you come down here and do videos there, and you click on that. I've written an HTML interface that looks like this. And this is all the videos that they had and I had digitized. And the one that we were talking about is right here. And this is this URL. You hit this URL, you go to the Oklahoma History Society YouTube site. This is their YouTube video, their OHS film and video archives. And then you can see that I've been commenting here. Just go back a bit. They've done one on a groundbreaking, and we have decided. I did I don't know if I did a video on it, but yeah, I did a video on it. There's a video on the groundbreaking video. And I think we've identified the building. It was using AI to take and identify buildings, identify locations on maps. That's roughly what the name was. Okay, class of 1921. That's the reunion of the 1921 class, graduating class from Logan County High School or Guthrie High School. And then conventions. This was probably a Methodist convention, and still got things I'm trying to identify there. This was probably the most popular in the videos. It was the Guthrie 89er Day Parade. and George and I was lieutenant governor, and he was in the parade. So, and then this is the foliage tour. Now, the foliage tour is actually documented in two archives. The other archive is in Boulder, Colorado, and it's the Martin T. Parsons archive out there. And it's a letter from Mabel and Flora to Parsons describing the trip that they made, the tour that they made, and it lists all these various locations. Some are listed there, and some of them I've derived from the video. And so it's listed all those locations. So that's available to the archives. If you've never been on Talamina Drive in Oklahoma, I recommend you do it if you ever get the chance. And then the individual. Okay, now this is the picture. Okay, I showed you a little bit of that, I think, but let's make sure. Let's be complete here. So basically, how you get there is you go to not main line 0049 and 00970 collections and Mabel and Flora collections. And this is book one. And then these are various pictures. Most of them, several of them are Auta Kennedy. Let's see. I did this so it would show up where that one's at. There it is, right there. There's the picture. And that's the hat that I did the bonnet book on. And the book report. Now, key thing about the first 3 or 4 of these are documented like this. Let's see if I can get that to come up. And so this is the back of those albums, and they have pages. Here's page 1, and they describe who's there. I hate this font. You'll notice that some of these things have a TN in the name, it's the same name, but a TN. That's how I did the HTML that's on this page that actually will write this page to a browser. And you can jump directly to these pictures as you go through them. These photographs here that are above here were a project for taking and doing the stained glass windows of the First Methodist Church in Guthrie. This is G.W. Pultz. I don't even have to take a look for the index for that. And just to show you, this is book 1, book 2, book 3, book 4, the blue album, the brown album, loose pictures, tintypes. Now, tintypes are actually very germane to what we're doing. The tintypes were Auta Kennedy's, and they are Auta Kennedy's family. Most of them are in Kansas. Some of them came from Kansas down to Oklahoma, so some of them apply to that. Like the G.W. Pultz, I believe, is in a tintype in there too, and Beverly Pultz is in there. Then we have Bible records, different Bible records than the ones I showed you. This is an address book. There's the genealogy research that I was using before. And then we have a number of envelopes. And all the way down to number 15. Number 15 is an envelope of negatives that have been digitized by me using what equipment I had. It wasn't the best for doing negatives, but I did, and it's a lot of construction pictures. So there's each of these envelopes. I don't know how the Oklahoma Historical Society managed these, but each of these were in a separate envelope. They were found, just scattered in different folders and stuff. Sometimes they were actually in envelopes. So, and then the new folder is new information that I found concerning these people. So anything that's new folder. Whenever you see a new folder in my stuff, it's stuff I have not filed yet. So that's how it fits. Okay, now let's go back to the presentation. Trying to get distracted here. So I'm trying to be as informative. It occurred to me that I needed to take and do a release to OHS to use this information that's in this video for their description. So we got Gemini. AI Gemini. Let's go use AI Gemini to do that. So, transcribe that's the wrong one. Okay. Okay. Okay, I had it right. The release of the grant here. That was another transcription I was doing. I'm doing. Um, so what I did was I said to take and as an experienced historian using data created in this discussion, create a release document for me to sign, allowing OHS to use the description and information developed in databases for this collection, specifically the information in this video. And so anyway, it developed this, and it came up with a nice form for me to take and fill out, which I'll be sending to the Oklahoma Historical Society, and making them aware of this video. Okay, here's where you can find other examples of my RootsMagic templates. Just to refresh, we have been going through the workflow process, my workflow process anyway. First thing to do is I collect all the sources into Zotero. Then I arrange the events by timeline. I put the reference number in the front, and you've seen plenty of examples of that today: year, month, day. Then I analyze and I accept or reject it. And when I put it into RootsMagic 11, I put either accept in it, or if I don't put it in RootsMagic 11, I put rejected in it. Now, RootsMagic 11 can handle rejected entries, but it gets kind of messy. So I have elected to leave the rejected entries in Zotero for the moment. May change. All this has changed quite a bit in the last 2 years. Then I use AI to extract the data, and the source will be that template will be in the thing. And I can't overemphasize a hallucination check. The AI just gets lost at times, or maybe I'm not good at writing prompts, but one of the two things are going on, and you just have to read it. And I read it when I do the cut and paste between the forms, and that's a good step. Okay, enter the events into family search is to be done. And when I get through with entering all of Auta Kennedy stuff, I still got some more exhaustive research stuff to do before I get to entering into family search. Then you have formulate a hypothesis for future research. I may have AI help me with that. And then you start back at the beginning again. If you got the time to go back to that individual, if you're happy with it, I'm pretty happy with the number of data points I've got for Auta Kennedy. Okay, please subscribe and give a thumbs up. I will respond to comments, but it may take me a while. Please comment with additional topics you think should be addressed. And really, thank you. I really appreciate everyone that's been viewing my videos and giving me thumbs up and all the feedback that you've given me. Positive and negative. I had one person write me a multi-page email, and some of it was not flattering and some of it was good. And so I appreciate it. And try to make these a little bit better and a little less time consuming for you. All righty. You all have a great day and go enjoy the Super Bowl.